So welcome to an all-new episode of Go on Shaw TV. I'm Anand and I'm here with Sandy Meidlinger, and we're going to talk a little bit about the accessible playground you see here in the background. You want to tell me a little bit about, this playground itself, like how this all came to be?
Sure. I work for the Child Development Center, and we had a parent who has a child in a wheelchair, and she asked us if we could take on the project of getting an accessible playground in Quesnel, because none of our playgrounds in Quesnel are accessible. They're all pea gravel, which is the standard in the code, but of course wheelchairs can't get through. So she spends half of her afternoons hiking her now 10-year-old daughter up ladders and stairs so she can have a slide, or she can play with her twin sister who is able-bodied. And of course she's getting bigger, it's getting harder, and so Jenny asked us to take this on. So I pulled together a committee, which we already worked together, and we started working together, the Parent-Child Resource Team. We started finding ways to get some money for this.
Now, when you talk about accessible playgrounds, how different are they from regular playgrounds out there?
Well, all the playgrounds in Quesnel are basically pea gravel, which is the little tiny gravel. You can't ride a bike through it, you can't push a wheelchair through it. So the difference is that this playground has the rubber base, so the ground is all smooth, and it's made of rubber, so it still meets the fall requirements for the Canadian standards for playgrounds. And then we also have ramps that go up into the equipment so that people in a wheelchair, a child, or even an adult who is with children can go up the ramps and participate and play with their kids. We want this playground to be fun and functional for all children in the community. And so we chose this big equipment because it's really cool, really fun. It's a big draw. Everyone sees it and wants to come. And that's instead of monkey bars. You're climbing up and through and around all through these net pole things. It's really cool. Yeah, and then there's those ropey things too.
The ropey things, they're my favorite bit. So I'm going to go and check out some of the ropey things and stuff. And while I do that, you guys at home go check out a story. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the fun stuff that went into making this possible in Quesnel. We hope you enjoyed the story, and we're back with Sandy still. Now, Sandy, this is an amazing project like we've been talking about. So can you tell me a little bit about what the need for this was in the community?
Well, as far as we can figure out, there's at least 100 children in our community that have complex profiles. So maybe not in wheelchairs, but have some kind of issue that prevents them from going into public parks and playing. And so we really worked hard in this design to make it accessible for wheelchairs, but also looking at sensory needs and that kind of thing.
You mean like stuff like this, like where it's an audio-visual thing kind of a thing?
That's right, yeah. And we have the option to add those kind of panels as money comes in. So we're still looking for funds for that as well, additional things.
And why do you think it's so important for Quesnel to have done something like this? Like, why is this so important for our community specifically?
Well, because there was nothing for kids, and I believe all children should be allowed to play, and I think inclusion is the way to do that. And so looking at this playground, it's inclusive for everyone. So kids in a wheelchair, kids that have sensory needs or profile issues are more able to just come and relax and play, whereas in some of the other areas or playgrounds, they can't.
And I understand this is still a work in progress. There's still stuff left to come. So could you tell me a little bit about that as well?
Sure. Well, they're going to put the sandstone-y color of the final coat of the pour in place. Some colors that we're still waiting to add here. There, like I said, the picnic tables, those kind of things, they're going to come later if we can fundraise a little bit more for. There's also an unfinished ramp that we need to build before this playground's good to go.
Right on.
Yeah.
So we're going to go and check out another story, and when we come back, we're going to give you some contact info and information about how you could help out, like raising funds or even like coming down here and helping out with different things, right?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go check out the story and we'll be back. So we're going to go ahead into a short break, but before that, Sandy, could you give me a little bit of information about how someone at home can get a hold of you in case they wanted to donate some of their time or money for the playground?
Absolutely. I work at the Quesnel District Child Development Center. Can call me there at 250-992-2481. Could email me at sandym, SANDYM, at quesnelcdc.com. I had to think about that. The City of Quesnel is issuing receipts, so if people wanted to donate, they can get a receipt through the City of Quesnel. You can just go straight there and just say you want to donate to the playground, or you can ask questions at the rec center, and there's usually enough staff around that can answer them.
Right on. Is there any place on Facebook or anything else, or that's all it is?
Good point. Yeah, we have a Quesnel Accessible Playground page, and I've been putting pictures up as this build gets happening, so you can see where we're at, and you'll see when our grand opening is as well.
Exciting stuff. I'll have more details about that grand opening, as well as some more shots of this beautiful spot right after the break. So welcome back to the show, and we're still here at Quesnel's Accessible Playground with Sandy. And Sandy, just looking at all these materials, this is really impressive. This could not have been an easy or cheap project by any standards. How did this all, how did the grant process work to get all the monies that you required for this?
So first we went to the City of Quesnel and the Cariboo Regional District, got their permission. They agreed to let us use this land. So then from there we could start applying for grants, fundraising in the community. We asked for money from individuals as well as groups like Rotary and Community Foundation, and we got about $50,000 from the federal government for accessibility, and we're still asking for money out there.
Right on. And you know what, like we mentioned, it couldn't have been cheap by any standards. So how much has already gone into this whole playground?
So we fundraised with grants and individual donations about $225,000, and we're still looking for a bit more.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And these individual donations, they can be of any size. Like, you know, does every dollar go away, or is there a minimum amount that you guys are looking for?
No, every dollar counts towards it, and the City of Quesnel will issue receipts. I think the receipts have to be over $20.
And, you know, for the people at home, just so they know, like, this playground, like, it's not, you know, like your regular playground. It's a state-of-the-art playground, right?
It is a state-of-the-art playground designed by play specialists, and landscape design and habitat company have done hundreds of playgrounds all over, and they have a lot of experience, and they have excellent quality 100-year warranty on everything, and so it's worth it. It's definitely worth the money.
And there's a little more to go to make this vision complete, right?
That's right.
All right, when we come back after this next story, we're going to find out how much more they need to make this vision complete. So we're right at the end of our episode here, and before we go, I just want to say, Sandy, like, just looking at all of this, I cannot wait for that grand opening day where all the kids come down and when they have those big smiles on their faces and they come here and actually experience this. So do you have any ideas on when that big grand opening date is going to be?
No, we still have a few things that we have to work out, and they're still doing the pour in place right now. So we don't have a date set yet, but once we do, I will make sure that everybody knows. I'll put it on our Facebook page and email out all our contacts and our committee that knows everybody, and go from there, and everyone will know.
So what are some of the future plans, and what needs to be completed before, you know, you can call this place done and get the kids in here?
Well, there's still a couple of things. We have an unfinished ramp that we need to make. There's some landscaping things. We need a pathway that comes down that's totally accessible. We want accessible picnic tables and benches and that kind of thing. And of course, the community's been so great, and we have such a big heart in Quesnel that I think we'll get it together.
But that heart can grow just a little bigger. So could you tell me a little bit about how much more you guys need to complete this entire project?
Well, you know, the city has underwritten some of the projects, so we're still getting our bills in, but I figure we could probably use about $90,000, which will cover everything.
Right on. And where can you donate that money again?
The City of Quesnel, you can go right in. They will issue a receipt for anything that you do, as long as you say it's for the accessible playground.
Right on. Thank you for watching that episode, and we hope you enjoyed that. Sandy, congratulations on what's happened so far. I cannot wait till that grand opening day. And if you guys at home enjoy that episode and, you know, want to learn how to volunteer with us, or even learn how to make the stories that we do, send me an email on this link right here. For Go On Shaw TV, I'm Anand, and I'll see you next week.